Hello and welcome to a weekly strange news. In this show, we'll take a look into the news and headlines, pick out curious reports of the strange, the weird, and the mysterious. Anything from UFO news to science advancements to paranormal and stuff labeled fringe science and fringe phenomena. Each news item we go over in the show, I will place all the links to them in the description box below once this live show is over, as well as chapters on the timeline index. Hello and welcome to all of my first time viewers and listeners, and of course, everyone catching this live. Hello, Trucker Paul Moon at noon. Bishop, hello, Zenza. Good to see you. Peace of mind, Matthew. Welcome, everyone. Before we get started, I'm going to place this QR code up for all of my social media links. And the really cool thing that you now know about is on my website, I post articles for all of the shows that are done here. So if you want it in written format, that is the place to go check it out. And you just got to scan this QR code or type in strangeparadigms.com to find everything you need to know, plus articles as well. It's been a pretty interesting week when it comes to UFOs, and I'm going to share my screen here because this one has been sent to me on multiple occasions. But the Daily Mail was able to get an interview with one of the drone operators for this now well known Ukraine UFO sighting that took place last year, but that just was made public, I want to say like last week. And so it's been making its rounds. People have been talking about it earlier this week. And the Daily Mail just posted an article about this in the sense of being able to interview someone today. So I was like, this is perfect. This is awesome. So let's get into this one because as it goes, that according to the Daily Mail last Friday in Ukraine's Donetsk region, a soldier reported the Daily Mail this extraordinary sighting that we are seeing on screen. And it's a disc shaped UFO surpassing the Empire State Building in length, hovering motionlessly. Caught myself there for that one, about a mile above the ground. And the observer, a drone operator from the Ukrainian Army's 406 platoon, encountered the 1,300-foot object while conducting a reconnaissance mission amidst challenging winds. And initially mistaking it for the enemy, he quickly reconsidered, speculating the possibility of it potentially being an extraterrestrial craft. And this is something that people have been already very quick to debunk, of saying, no, it has to be this mirage that we're seeing similar to this one. And this is like not the best quality, but you get the gist of how it looks like a ship is floating on over the water, but in reality we're just seeing an illusion here due to the light and the reflection of the water. So when this interview was being conducted, the drone operator, and the only name that we have, he goes by the name of Vadium. He said, it's definitely not that, just because I was able to calculate the temperature, because this UFO significantly warmer by about 36 to 54 degrees Fahrenheit than any other entity previously detected in the conflict zone, defied a conventional explanation like atmospheric phenomena or known military assets. So, as the 406 platoon, like atmospheric phenomenon or known military assets, are looking at this and they're saying, I think there's a little bit more to this than what meets the eye. Why is this significant? Well, there have been a lot of UFO sightings throughout history in and around war zones. And this is why it's catching a lot of people's attention, and why I've been receiving emails about it, links to it in my DMs across social media platforms. It's because that is just one connection of many as to why people are saying we need to talk about this. This has happened in World War II with the Foo Fighters. It's happened between the North and South Korean wars on that specific line that separates the two countries. We have seen it across the country, across the globe. And so Ukraine is no exception. And I love saying it's no exception because when it comes to this topic, it's usually no exception. I think I say it like once every show. But what we're looking at here, And you can take it or leave it. Do you believe it's a UFO? For the time being, it is unidentified. Therefore, it is a UFO. Now, can we say it's extraterrestrial? That's where it's getting a bit difficult because we are now in 2024 and we have some pretty advanced technology. We do. Now, how much of that is known? Depends on who you ask and what field or agency you're in, but I would like to think that in 2024 we should already be having flying cars. Okay, it still bothers me that they're not for sale yet, so why can't we have craft like this that are operated by man? Could they have been reverse engineered at some point and they were originally extraterrestrial? There are so many possibilities, and we can postulate these ideas for hours on end. And that's going to entertain some and bore others. I'm not going to put you in that predicament, but I do want you just to take a moment right here, right now, of what do you think is going on here? I want to know in the live chat for those that are able to catch this show live. I always enjoy hearing what you have to say about it. So I'm going to take a look here. Oh, nice. Star says, I was just playing a World War II airplane game. Nice. Justin says, something about this looks fake. Okay, Justin, let's get into that because we now have amazing technology to create CGI. The AI development in the last 16 months has just risen up exponentially. We are seeing it evolve right in front of our eyes every few days. I'm not going to say you're seeing it change every day. I mean, yes, but it's not 100% realistic. But every few days, you're seeing something new evolve from AI. So if we were to come across the real deal, let's say someone got the most legitimate looking image or video of a UFO, people would so quickly dismiss it and say, it's CGI. Come on, guys, it's AI. Get your head out of wherever it is because you're obviously dumb. Do you see what I'm saying here? There's this level of a constant battle, a constant argument and two teams here. And I'm not saying it's one or the other. I think it is worth mentioning today. I do not have the answer on if it is real or not. The Ukrainian government hasn't authenticated it yet. People have looked at this video for the last few days, up until like I want to say 5 to 7 days. I know someone's gonna say, Christina, you're not in the loop, and I'm like, I'm a little bit behind these last few days. But until we get some authentic, like to someone to tell us like, oh my gosh, this is the real deal, then people will start taking it more seriously. But then we got to ask ourselves yet again, why should we believe any government? Why should we believe someone that claims they have authority? Are they telling the truth? Are they providing misinformation and or disinformation? Is it for their agenda to benefit them instead of the public? There's this constant critical thinking and skepticism here. And this is why it makes the UFO phenomenon one of the most difficult topics to cover. So, all we can do here is provide as much information as we can, and you make up your mind on if you think it is real or not. I'm not going to ever tell you one or the other. I'm going to let you decide, and I'd love to know your insights and your opinions on the things that we cover here because they're valuable to me and to everyone else that reads them in the live chat and in the comments as well. Katkin says, I don't think the soldiers in Ukraine have time to create CGI on the battlefield. You would think so, but some people have extra free time. Maybe instead of sleeping, they're creating something crazy. Who knows? Paul says, don't know what to make of it, but if it is from Ukraine, I'm sure they have better things to do than hoax UFO sightings. Look, I hear you on that one. I do. And yet we still need to remain skeptical and at the very, very least, just ask questions. That's all we can do. So there is more information on that, and those links will be in the description box below for all of the articles that we cover. But I want to get into this one. This one is cool because Canada, just Canada in all caps. Why? Because in 2022 they created a UFO office. They at the very least made it public. And so it's called the Sky Canada Project. And just recently, there was news from the Canada's chief science advisor, Mona Newer, Newmer, excuse me, and she has announced plans to release a comprehensive public report on UFOs by early fall, addressing a growing interest and concern over aerial phenomenon. We've known about this for some time now, but we haven't been really receiving any updates on it until just when this article came out by ctvnews.canada. And so, also attached to that article is the Sky Canada Project website that you can also look at. But for those that aren't familiar with it and or aren't Canadian, don't worry, we are going to cover that right now. But before we do, we have 254 people watching this live, only 121 likes. If you're enjoying the show, hit that like button right down below. Let's get to 200 likes if and only if you are enjoying the show that we are doing today. Ooh, I'm hearing Canada, and Mysterious Mysteries says, blame Canada. Nice. I'm Canadian, says Steve. Hello. Hi there. Well, let me ask you, were you familiar with the Sky Canada project? Because it has sought collaboration with international counterparts and various Canadian departments, aims to clarify and streamline how UFOs are recorded and managed. Remember that? That sentence is very important. Write it down, put on a little post-it, or if you have really good memory, put it in there, because that's all they're doing. It sounds very similar to NASA's UAP office or group, that they're all they're doing is just recording and managing data. So despite facing challenges in the data consistency and completeness, Mona's team is committed to producing evidence-based recommendations. What does that mean? Evidence-based. Okay, we're looking at radar. We're looking at things, maybe images, videos, right? That's what I'm thinking here. And so this part is like a kind of a broader shift towards taking UFO sightings more seriously, at least according to the Sky Canada project, which aligns with recent US congressional hearings and official reports from NASA and the Pentagon in the United States. And so Mona's announcement underscores the Canadian government's commitment to transparency and scientific inquiry into the unexplained aerial phenomenon. They took that script from NASA. They did, okay? They want to have transparency, but also be scientific. We saw it during the NASA briefing, and that was the best time that Bill Nelson ever said, we're transparent and you can bet your boots. Okay, I want that on a t-shirt to this day. So here, Canada is no exception to this. But this project, as I had mentioned a little bit earlier, it was initiated in the fall of 2022. And this is important. I'm putting this in all caps and in bold. It is designed not for gathering firsthand accounts like photographs or personal testimonies, nor to serve as the primary channel for Canadians to report their encounters with UFOs, UAP. Its goal is either to affirm or refute the existence of extraterrestrial life or its visits to Earth. Instead, the project's core mission is to scrutinize and enhance the way Canada handles public reports of UAP, spearheaded by the Office of the Chief Science Advisor. That sounds like Project Blue Book in some ways. Not that they're going out there and they're doing reports, but what they're looking at here is they're just trying to control the public reports, controlling the public view of UFOs. So we should be receiving a report by the end of the summer or the fall of 2024. And when I say we, I mean that's going to be an international effort. When when they make this public, the whole world should have access to it, at the very least, a declassified version of their longer paper, like how they do in the United States. But I really would like to see a better report than what the United States has been giving out, like ARROW and the AOI, MSG, and the UAPTF, and all of these crazy acronyms that you're thinking, why is she just spilling out the alphabet? Well, those are all UFO offices that have changed every single year in the United States. As for Canada, they've kept theirs since 2022. but I don't remember ever receiving paperwork from them on what they've collected. So it's going to be interesting to see what they will provide. But I do not have high expectations. I really don't. But the Office of the Chief Science Advisor, the OCSA, is actively compiling insights from various federal entities and external partners to evaluate Canada's current methodologies for managing UAP reports. So they're not analyzing, they're not investigating, they're just managing it. And this is pretty relevant to the next article I'm going to cover, but we can actually just jump out just a few weeks back when the United States government and certain agencies said, okay, we're going to categorize UFO sightings, and then we're going to make some of that information public. Not all of it, but what we think can be declassified with no issue, such as the NARA, which is the National Archive Recording Agency. Oh no, Association. That's going off of memory there. But it is, the acronym is the NARA, which backs up what the Inspector General Robert Storch has said, that the United States, we don't really have a collective way on how to report UFOs. When I say collective, I mean across agencies. Then the NARA said, okay, we're going to start categorizing things. And then Canada is saying the exact same thing. Do you see the pattern here? Are other countries going to follow up? In all honesty, the United States and Canada, they are very behind when it comes to UFO offices. China's been having theirs for a few decades. You got Japan. You have many countries in Latin America that have had theirs for a handful of decades. United States, Canada, dude, we're behind a little bit, a lot, actually, if I were to be modest here. P says, coincidence? I think not. Hey. Yes. Spectre Wolf says, not holding my breath for this from Canada. Me neither, but at the very least, we are able to hold them accountable because they did make this information public. Saying, yes, we are going to release something. Yes, it is going to be interesting. I said, okay, all right, if you say so. I'll nibble at it. I'll take the bait. But if it's not good, you will hear my complaints. It'll be a 1-star review. Even though that's not really how it works with the government. It's fine. We're going to do it anyway. The star says, we may never get disclosure from the government. At the end of the day, disclosure will come from the people and not from the government. It doesn't seem like that will be the case. So you can also find that link below, but this is relevant and important when coming to our next article. And here's an actual screenshot of the National Archives website that posts records related to unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAPs, at the National Archives. I've mentioned this, I want to say, since 2022. Here we are in 2024, and we still not have come to a consensus if it's phenomena or phenomenon. People use UAP plural, people use UAP singular, and they say UAPs. We haven't decided which one it is yet. And it's comical stuff. It is. It shows that we're all over the place here. But here, this was published, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, but articles are just now being written about it. And is this worth your time? Because we got to ask this for real. Is the archives.gov talking about UFOs worth your time? I went through it. I tried to read and understand everything that I could on all their declassified documents. And yeah, it's cool. But if you're not a diehard, it's not worth your time. It's not. But let me say this. It's the NARA said, yep, we're going to have archives ready for you. And then a week or two after they had mentioned that, they launched this. They made this information public. That was so fast. That is the fastest the government has ever worked on declassifying information. And it makes me question, and I bet it makes you ask the same question. Did they already have it ready? And all they had to do was just press submit, press send, because they have never worked that fast, ever. Prove me wrong. That's okay. I want to be proven wrong. But for them to do it under 2 weeks, I don't buy it. I think it was ready. Now, these images that you're going to see, some of them are black and white. Some of them do look like pretty defined flying saucers with very little information attached to them. The information that is there is a number, a file number. And if you were to type that file number online, you're not going to come across any information, but at the very least, it's filed under government archives that probably have more details to some of the images or like crappy summaries that they write. The writing, it's bland, it's boring. Obviously, it's not for entertainment. It's government. You're going to get black and white stuff, but it's not black and white. Why? Because they add all this unnecessary fluff that makes you a little bit confused, that makes you lose interest in the subject. Is that their motive? Is that why they're writing it the way that they do? You can read it on your own time. That link will be below. But what we're looking at here is that with the current offering is still somewhat limited on what they provided for the UFO archive, because it does contain links to content from like NASA and the US Air Force and even Project Blue Book, and an extensive, which by the way, if you're not familiar with it, it was an extensive UFO study that ran from 1952 to 1969. The TV show Project Blue Book, yes, solid. Watch it. So good. All right. If you're not familiar with it, at the very least, just watch the TV show. But there are links to photographs, and they save videos and audio recordings, but those videos and audio recordings aren't made public, but they just say in the summary, yeah, we have videos and auto recordings for it, and they make it really difficult to navigate the website, by the way. Go ahead and try it. Please go ahead and let me know your feedback on how easy it was to navigate it, because it took me some time, and I think to myself at the very least that I'm tech savvy. But I'm happy on how things are going. At least we're getting something, and I'll take it. At the very least, being on the optimistic side, I'll take that. All right. Now we're getting into Bigfoot, because that is what's up. And this is really funny because people have been typing into Google Bard, which is now known as Gemini, on how to hunt for Bigfoot. And let me tell you, this AI program has some serious ideas. So if you are a Bigfoot enthusiast or an investigator or a researcher, you do want to listen to this and tell me, does it work? Have you tried it? And maybe you shouldn't put yourself in harm's way. We just need 8 more likes to get to 200, so please hit that like button right down below. John says, I'll have to check the website out. Yes, it is thearchives.gov. And then the topic is UFOs. But that link will be below once this live show is over for you to check it out. And then write in the comments on how you thought the website went for you, because it's a very serious question. Catkin says, why on earth would you want to hunt them? People are curious and they want to capture what they don't understand. Rome says, peanut butter sandwiches is the best way to catch a Bigfoot. This is a real saying, and I believe it wholeheartedly. And that is, the way to a person or cryptid stomach, no, heart, is through their stomach. See, I overstepped myself there. But the best way to get to someone's heart is through their stomach. Always bring snacks, all right? Always cook for people. They will like you more. And if you were ever to meet a cryptid or be in a dangerous situation, you say, hey, you look a little hungry. Here's a Snickers bar, right? And that's why that commercial actually works, because hangry is a real thing. Well, Bigfoot, same. Also for them. Because When it comes to Google Bard's artificial intelligence, Bigfoot hunters are being advised to dress up as the creature and carry a giant net that could catch them. I'm sorry. And it turns out that most of the equipment needed is already available to amateur seekers and professional Bigfoot historians. So, according to Google Bard, the first and most important step is to lure the Sasquatch from their communities. That's pretty spooky. And it suggests setting up elaborate displays with flashlights, strange sounds, and irresistible scents to pique its curiosity and draw it out, like a child sounds like. But this is a. Can we just touch on that for a second? Bigfoot researchers have been doing that for a while. You see it a lot in the Bigfoot TV shows, but when you're dealing with the Olympic project in Washington or the BFRO, they don't play those small games anymore. Yes, they still deal with scent, but when it comes to like flashlights and strange sounds, they did that for a while, but I don't think that they're still continuing on with that aside from tree knocks. So once you've attracted the Bigfoot away from its community with a mix of pleasant smells and dazzling lights and music, like a whole party, a whole disco. Let's have fun in the forest, right? You also got to bring in a giant net as well to be able to capture them all up. And this could be super useful as the chatbot said an average Sasquatch could be large enough to be caught in a giant net. Do you know how big Bigfoot is according to stories and legends and witness testimonies? You can't carry a big net. You know how heavy those are? Unless you are just an amazing like bodybuilder or something. You're going to need a whole team with you. And after capturing the creature and feeding it sustainable food, so there you go, you gotta offer it at your snacks. The real challenge begins by infiltrating the community of Bigfoot. And how do you do that? Well, you gotta wear a life-sized, realistic Bigfoot suit to infiltrate and gain their trust, according to Google Bard. Genius. That is so smart. And if you can hear the sarcasm in that, I know it's kind of I don't use sarcasm that often. So to hear those like those fluctuations I can understand the difficulty in that. But that's a terrible idea. It might work, it might have worked with primates at certain points in time. At least so researchers thought. Didn't actually work. It does work for some animals, but for Bigfoot, I am just going to say they're probably more intelligent than that. They're probably smarter than people. That's not that hard these days. Hmm? Loki says Bigfoot likes pillows. Who doesn't like pillows? Serious question. If you don't like pillows, you don't like sleeping. Marty says, once while camping at Lake Tahoe, I heard 3 loud knocks at 3 a.m. Dun dun dun. 3 and 3. You gotta add one more 3 to that. That's pretty wild. But let's switch this question on to you. Let's say you applied all of that knowledge that you just learned from an AI. Let's just say you're like, all right, I'm gonna bring a whole disco, I'm gonna dress up like them, and I'm gonna make a whole freaking barbecue for these guys. Do you think they're just gonna walk home with you and say, yeah, let's have a good time? How are you gonna fit them in your car or in a bus? Or this, how are you gonna cover up the smell so that other people don't take your game, right? Or would you say, hey, I just want to be your friend, I just want to hang out with you, but I would never take you out of your habitat? I don't know, humans, they are irrational creatures and they have an immense level of selfishness, pride, ego. And if you can be the first to place a Bigfoot head in your man cave, in your gaming room, in your living room, a good chunk of people would jump on that and they say, heck yeah, I'm ready to be in the Guinness World Record book for the first person to take on a Bigfoot and put him as a trophy in my house. People have been doing that with other animals for centuries. What makes it different for the mentality to do the same to Bigfoot? You see what I'm saying here? It's brutal, but people are irrational. Tina bringing in the songs. He's got a big ego. That's probably not the tune at all. But you know what? We're gonna make our own songs here together, Tina. You and me. We're gonna. I'll play the guitar and I'll let you sing to that one because you just heard me and it was not ideal. Ron says, I wouldn't mind a pet friend, Bigfoot. It would just be cool to befriend a Bigfoot. Just in general. Just it would be a solid 10. Let me explain why. When I was a child, gosh, not that many years ago. Uh, um, but on a serious note, I always had this craving for animals to befriend me, and I wanted to like be able to speak to animals more so than to people and people my age. I was like, nah, man, you have a dog or a cat or a rabbit, just leave me in the room with them and I will try my diddly darn best to telepathically communicate with them and then have them just enjoy my company. So what would I do? I would pack snacks, dog treats, cat treats, carrots. Okay, you think I'm joking, but I am so serious because the only way to win someone's heart is through their stomach. Write that down. I'm serious. All right. Nope. No manipulation. No any kind of like evil persuasion. No trying to use psychological tricks on people for them to like you. No. Just offer them food. Instant friend zone right there. Okay. 10. Bob says, just setting up a call line. Could you imagine giving a Bigfoot a cell phone and then just having them be able to call you whenever they needed like more cake or something because they can't go to the grocery store and get it? So you got to be the middleman. I would do it in a heartbeat. I would say, heck yeah. Call me anytime. I'll be there. Ooh, chilly. Bringing in the dark comments, but a legitimate question. And it says maybe Bigfoot is a delicacy to eat for the super wealthy. Oof. Oof. Hey, to the human's eye, everything is food but other people. Because if you eat other people, that's cannibalism and you will go to prison. Any other animal? It's fair game for the most part. Bigfoot, good flippin' luck with that one. All right, I got another one for you. Getting off the conversation of Bigfoot because it ain't everyone's cup of tea, and that's totally okay. Got a little asterisk here. Says, bring carrots next time you go out, lol. I never leave the house without snacks in my pocket, in my jacket, in my bag, either for me or for someone else. Okay, always. I've had many moments in my life where I'm next to someone that I know for the most part that's like super hungry and I say, dude, I got you. Here you go. And they're like, whoa, Cristina, you're the flipping best. I'm like, thank you. Thank you so much. There you go, buddy. And then instant friendship for life. No going back from that. All right, here's this one for you. And it's about a train. How many of you are train fanatics? Okay. I didn't used to really care for trains. I have come to enjoy trains the older I've gotten. Same with like travel documentaries, okay? Just a little fun fact. I love Rick Steves. He is just this like most innocent looking man that travels all across the world and documents it. And I think it was like for PBS or something. I don't remember, but it's on YouTube. And I play it right before bed. It's great. Okay. I didn't used to be like that, but I'm old now. mentally. And I'm just travel documentaries are the best. Okay, so getting back to trains, because China is advancing towards revolutionizing high speed travel with its T flight train, which has recently achieved a groundbreaking speed of 387 miles per hour on a test track, surpassing Japan's MLX-01 maglev, excuse me, which is the current fastest train at 361 miles per hour. Well, here's the crazy thing about the T flight created for by China is that they want to reach speeds to 1,243 miles per hour when it's fully operational, when it's ready for the public. So we're looking at what? Four times the speed than their flight, test flight, because it's a T flight, right? Um, which is which exceeds the speed of sound and double the velocity of a Boeing 737. Can we just marinate on that for a second? Okay, just for a moment. That's really flippin' fast. And so let's say that were to be implemented all across China, all across the globe. You would never need to take a plane again. And then everyone would be twice as fast to get you anywhere. See, in China, in Japan, let's say even like Germany, right? Public transportation, it's public in the sense of almost everyone takes it. People don't have a lot of their own cars. In the United States, we hate public transportation. Okay? We don't even have that many subways and trains unless you're in New York. Everywhere else, you have your own car. At the very least, you have a horse. So for this, if this were to fully work, for this train to go at, I'm going to round it, 1,300 miles per hour, I'd be okay with this than flying cars. I would, because it's super duper cool how this is working. Because the maglev train, which is Japan's train, elevates using magnets to eliminate friction, which is already magic. That is levitation. That's flying to me. Okay. Which promises to shorten the Wuhan to Beijing journey from over 4 hours to just 30 minutes, which this technology first proposed back in 1910 and then later popularized by Elon Musk in 2013, involves transporting people in tubes at high speed. It is a brilliant idea to use magnets to get you from point A to point B. Okay? I think that's a solid answer. All right. Now, trains are cool. Okay. They didn't always used to be cool, but now they are cool. Do you like trains? I want to know. Serious question. All right. All work and low pay. More of a hover, though, as you say. No, dude. No. Okay. That is levitation. That is flying capacity. I'll take it. Yes, hovering is okay. Like, where are our hoverboards that we were promised in the movie Back to the Future? We should have them by now. But see, hovering in 2024 doesn't sound as cool as levitating. And let me tell you, it's all about marketing here. Marketing in the sense of for this China train to say, nah, we're not hovering. We're levitating, buddy. Get on that spiritual level. I'd go on that train. Easy. That'd be so awesome. I would pay the ticket for it. Weird Traveler says, yes, I still want a hoverboard. Or how does that song go? I want my MTV. Like that one. Same. D7 says magnetic levitation. Put that on your resume. You know how cool that sounds? It's almost as cool as learning that your microwave has a Faraday cage around it. Say that at a party. Say that at your next gathering. People will instantly drop their cups and drool at you and think at how cool you are for knowing that fact. It's not a full-blown fact. It's kind of like a rough version of a Faraday cage, but it still is. But they don't have to know that. Okay? So cool. But magnetic levitation, put that on your resume. Put it on a t-shirt. Put it on his little badge. Okay? That's cool. Rat says, I want my Jetsons flying craft in a briefcase. Me too, buddy. I do as well. All right, I got an honorable mention for you today. This one's funny. This is not the actual image, by the way, but it's gets to the point. Because a 19-year-old man, I'm sorry. It's just so it's just so funny. Okay. A 19-year-old man is facing a potential prison sentence ranging from 3 months to 5 years for the theft of a horse. But let me tell you why this is so funny. Is because he tried to steal a horse and then place it on the on his third floor apartment residential complex. Do you know how big horses are? Do you know how loud horses are? Do you know how big their poop is? Okay? Yeah. Try putting that bad boy in a room. Good luck. If you've never seen a horse or have interacted with the horse, go do it this weekend. Have a little fun. All right. Because you can't put this casually in a house, in at the very least, an apartment. And this took place in Poland. Okay. When local police were alerted to a bizarre situation involving a man who was attempting to move a horse up the stairway of an apartment building, and initially skeptical, suspecting a practical joke, the police were convinced to respond after the caller persistently reported the surreal scene of a full-sized horse being escorted up the stairs amid the protests of bewildered residents. Okay. I'll tell you a little fun fact about myself. I used to ride horses, okay? I did that for a few years of my life. And I would never, for number one, place a horse in a small, skinny staircase, okay? Because these bad boys are big. Number two, I would never place them in an enclosed room for, of course, animal reasons, okay? But at the same time, their their poop is huge. Okay, there's no casual way in saying that. It's big and it's smelly, and there better be a window in that room. I would never do that. I would never ask anyone to take a horse up several stories into an enclosed room. That's what cats and dogs are for, little critters, right? But on a serious note, horses are flippin' awesome. Love horses. Tree says horses can be dangerous. Yes, they can. Jack says a horse diaper. Ugh. I mean, just this is it's gross. Dema says horse poop bag. I mean, yes, but no. Cadkin says great for growing pumpkins, though. That is right. It is pretty fertile. Okay, yeah, good for plants and gardens. Okie dokie. Yes. P says, sounds like she may have been traumatized by horse poop. Yeah, let's just say I have fallen in it more than once. And pools of pee as well. Yeah, it's not really that great looking back at it. I cried actually when I was 6. Now it's a little bit funny, but not that much. Rick says horse scat ain't that bad. Depends who you ask there, but okay, I like the optimism. Oh, Tina, bringing in some facts. I'd worry more about the horse going number 1. That's a good point. That's it's a good point because that's like a whole gallon of yeah. I don't want to get too much into detail on that one, but so for the time being, the horse valued at approximately $3,800 was successfully returned to its rightful owner after it was stolen. Uh, and so, meanwhile, the young man responsible for this unconventional theft faces charges that could lead to significant prison time. I don't really know how to like say anything about that. Do you think you should go to jail for stealing a horse and putting up 3 stories high? 3 stories high. Yeah, that's right, right? Or should it just be kind of be let go? I don't know how the government works in Poland. I don't know how strict their laws are, but it will show this for 19-year-old boy man to not do such stupid things. Consequences are dire and they do teach you lessons. don't you don't you think? Sad for good, bringing in the jokes. What do you win for? Horsing around. Ba-da-tsh. That's a knee slapper. That one's funny. It's a dad joke, but I respect it. So it's good. Yeah, Marty. Yeah, someone's going to jail. It's that 19-year-old boy man. He was going to prison for it. Mm. Yeah, it's a good one. Out of all the articles that we covered today, which one was your favorite? Let me know in the live chat. Please let me know in the comments as well. I do try my absolute best to read all of the comments. I thought it was really exciting to get more details on the Ukrainian footage. That was pretty exciting to just kind of get a better understanding of what was going on, but also to hear Canada address the UFO I mean, is it a concern? Depends on who you ask on that. But it was interesting to hear how the Canadian Sky project is going to move forward with this and what they're emphasizing their research on. So they're not analyzing anything, they're just categorizing. How are they going to handle the situation? How are they going to keep it under wraps when it comes to public interest? At least that's what I got from it. But if you had a different interpretation, please let me know in the comments right down below. John says, Bigfoot rave sounds fun. Was that your favorite article? Is that because that one? Yeah, it does seem pretty cool having a rave with the Bigfoot. Why not? Okay. Cyberspace says, can't wait for your RV travels. That's my dream. Hey, honestly, same. I've been saving up since my senior year in high school. So, I mean, I feel that one. Like, I'm ready. I'm so stinking ready, but things have been placed on hold for some time being. So as soon as I know, you'll know about the RV travels and then traveling the United States, hitting all the UFO and paranormal hotspots. If you're enjoying all the content that you're seeing right here and you want to help with the RV, the best place to do it is through Patreon. Why? Because not only is it helping me, but Patreon members are also able to get free merch that I am not selling anywhere. It is exclusive. And you can't even find the designs online, if you see what I mean. So that is the best way to support this channel. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button right down below. Here is my QR code for all of my social media links, but the best place to look is on my website at strangeparadigms.com. There you can find all of my socials, but also that you can also find all of the articles that I write for these shows right here on this channel. We do 3 live shows right here every single week, so please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment as well. For those listening, you can follow me on Twitter at eyes_on_the_skies or on Instagram at Strange Paradigms. But if you want to continue the conversation with 3,000 other like-minded members to share your thoughts, your insights, your experiences, and more, you can check out the Discord server. That link is in the description box below. Before you head out, take a look at my space ambient music channel called Cosmic Portals, and there you can fall asleep, relax, or use your imagination to wander the universe. Now, that is it for today. I'll see you next time. Be safe, and remember, keep your eyes on the skies.